The stars belonged to the old empires. For thousands of years, three great powers ruled the galaxy with iron fists wrapped in silk gloves. The Velkhari sovereignty controlled the northern spiral arms with their massive trade fleets. The Xin Collective dominated the core worlds with their advanced technology. The Aurelian Dominion held the outer rim through military strength. Together they formed the Galactic Council, and their word was law. The Council decided which species could travel the stars. They chose who traded with whom. They made rules about weapons, about ships, about everything. Most species obeyed because they had no choice. The three empires had weapons that could burn entire worlds. They had ships that moved faster than light. They had technology that seemed like magic to younger civilizations. But the Council did something else too. They watched primitive worlds. They studied them from far away. And sometimes they put up barriers around them. Earth was one of those worlds. 500 years ago, the Council discovered a small blue planet in a distant corner of the galaxy. The world was beautiful. It had water, forests, and millions of different life forms. But the species that ruled it worried the Council deeply. Humans were violent. They fought constant wars with each other. They built terrible weapons. They killed their own kind over pieces of land, over ideas, over resources. The Council watched in horror as humans split atoms to create bombs. They saw cities vanish in nuclear fire. They recorded every war, every conflict, every act of human aggression. The Council held a vote. The decision was unanimous. Earth would be quarantined. Ambassador Kelthar of the Velkhari stood before the Council that day and spoke the words that sealed Earth's fate. "This species is too dangerous," he said. "They cannot join galactic civilization. They would bring their violence to the stars. We must contain them until they destroy themselves or evolve into something better." The Council placed warning beacons around the Sol system. Each beacon broadcast the same message in every known language. Contaminated species. Quarantined by Galactic Council order. Approach forbidden. Violation will result in immediate destruction. The beacons used technology humans could not detect. They were invisible to Earth's primitive sensors. Humanity never knew they were prisoners in their own star system. Years became decades. Decades became centuries. The galaxy moved on. New species joined the Council. Trade routes expanded. Technology advanced, but always the three empires maintained their control. They kept the peace through strength and fear. The peace was profitable. Wars were expensive. The empires learned long ago that it was better to negotiate than fight. They created rules for everything. If two species had a dispute, the Council mediated. If someone broke the rules, punishment was swift but measured. A few destroyed ships served as a warning. Total war was unnecessary and wasteful. The galaxy grew soft. Weapons became ceremonial. Military fleets existed more for show than combat. Actual battles were rare. When they happened, they followed strict protocols. Ships fired warning shots. Shields absorbed most damage. Crews usually survived. It was all very civilized. Earth remained forgotten behind its invisible wall. The Council checked on humanity occasionally. They saw humans reach their moon. They watched as humans built space stations. They observed as humans sent probes to other planets in their system. But the humans never left their solar system. They never discovered faster-than-light travel. They remained caged birds flying in circles within their cage. The Council was satisfied. Earth would stay contained. Eventually, humans would either wipe themselves out or become peaceful enough to join civilization. Either outcome was acceptable. There was no hurry. The Council had time, but the Council made one critical mistake. They assumed Earth knew nothing. They believed humans were blind to their presence. They thought the quarantine was perfect. They were wrong. Ambassador Threxcal served the Velkhari sovereignty with pride. He was young for a diplomat, only 300 years old. His job was simple but boring. He monitored the quarantined worlds. Once every 10 years he checked each beacon. He made sure they still functioned. He filed reports that no one read. It was tedious work, but someone had to do it. On this particular day, Threxcal was checking the Sol system beacons. His small ship drifted near the outer edge of the system. His sensors swept the area. The first beacon appeared on his screen, then the second, then the third, then nothing. Threxcal felt his blood freeze. 7 beacons were missing. He ran the scan again. The result was the same. 7 beacons had vanished, not damaged, not malfunctioning, gone. He activated the emergency communication system. His report went directly to Council headquarters. "This is Monitor Station 7, he transmitted. "Sol system quarantine has been compromised. Multiple beacons are missing. Requesting immediate investigation." The response came quickly. "Confirmed, Monitor 7, hold your position. Do not approach the system. Fleet units are being dispatched." Threxcal waited. His hands trembled slightly. In 500 years, no quarantine had ever been breached. Beacons did not just disappear. They were built to last for millennia. Something had destroyed them. But what?
Humans did not have the technology.
It was impossible. His sensors suddenly screamed an alert. Something was moving. Something big. Threxcal stared at his display in disbelief. A massive object was emerging from the Sol system's outer cloud of ice and rock. At first he thought it might be a comet or asteroid. But the movement was too controlled, too purposeful. It was a ship. The vessel was enormous, easily 3 times the size of a standard Council cruiser. Its design was unlike anything in the Galactic database, where Council ships were smooth and elegant. This ship was brutal and angular. It looked like a weapon that had been given engines. Dark armor covered every surface. Strange protrusions jutted from its hull. Energy readings pulsed across Threxcal's sensors in patterns he did not recognize. The ship moved with terrifying speed. It did not use the standard hyperlanes. It did not follow any known form of faster-than-light travel. It simply accelerated faster and faster, using some kind of drive system that made no sense. Threxcal's training took over. He activated every sensor. He recorded everything. He transmitted continuous data back to Council headquarters. His voice shook as he narrated what he saw. "Unknown vessel has emerged from Sol system. Design is completely foreign. Energy signatures are off the scale. Speed is impossible according to known physics. Ship is on a direct course toward Council space." He paused, then added something that would later appear in every history book. "I think the humans are coming." The ship passed within 1,000 kilometers of Threxcal's position. He got a clear view of its hull. Symbols were painted on the side in white letters. His computer translated the human language automatically, UES Prometheus. Below that, more words, United Earthship, and below that, something that made Threxcal's blood run cold. Warship. The Prometheus did not slow down. It did not hail him. It simply moved past, heading toward the heart of the galaxy, toward Council space, toward the 3 empires that had kept humanity locked away for 5 centuries. Threxcal sat alone in his small ship and watched the human warship disappear into the distance. He thought about the reports he had filed over the years, all those boring documents about a primitive, quarantined species, all those assumptions about Earth being contained and harmless. He had been so wrong. They had all been so wrong. The cage had not held humanity. It had only made them angry, and now they were free. Admiral Sarah Chen stood on the bridge of the Prometheus and watched the stars stream past. She was 53 years old, gray starting to show in her black hair. She had spent 30 years in the United Earth Navy. 20 of those years had been spent preparing for this exact moment. Behind her, the bridge crew worked in focused silence. Screens glowed with data. Holographic displays showed their position in space. Everything was running perfectly. The ship's quantum drive hummed smoothly. Weapon systems were charged and ready. The AI network monitored 1,000 different systems simultaneously. "How long until we reach their space?" Chen asked. Lieutenant Commander Marcus Webb checked his navigation console. 6 hours at current speed, Admiral. We are following the path of maximum visibility. They will see us coming, Chen nodded. That was the plan. Earth did not want to sneak into Council space. They wanted to be seen. They wanted the galaxy to know humanity had arrived. "Good," she said. "Maintain course. And Marcus, run another diagnostic on the weapons. I want everything perfect." "Yes, Admiral." Chen walked to the main viewport and looked out at the endless darkness. She thought about Earth. She thought about humanity's long journey to this moment. 500 years ago, something strange happened. Satellites started malfunctioning near the edge of the solar system. Scientists investigated. What they found changed everything. They discovered invisible objects floating in space. Objects that were not natural. Objects that broadcast warnings in languages humans did not know. Earth's governments panicked. Someone was out there. Someone was watching. And they had put up a barrier around humanity's home. The discovery united Earth in a way nothing else ever had. Nations that had been enemies for centuries suddenly cooperated. Resources poured into space programs. Scientists worked together across all borders. A single goal emerged: learn the truth and break free. It took 200 years to decode the alien languages. When humans finally translated the beacon messages, rage swept across the planet. They were prisoners. The galaxy had locked them away like dangerous animals, but the beacons also provided something valuable: technology. By studying the alien devices, human scientists learned things they would not have discovered for another 1,000 years. They reverse-engineered faster than light drives. They unlocked zero-point energy. They cracked quantum entanglement. Humanity did something the galaxy never expected. They took alien technology and improved it. They made it better. They made it deadlier. The United Earth government formed. One planet, one species, one purpose. For 300 years, humanity prepared. They built ships. They tested weapons. They trained soldiers. And they watched the galaxy through hacked beacon networks. What they saw disgusted them. The Galactic Council was not some noble organization. It was a protection racket run by 3 old empires. They controlled everything. They decided which species could advance and which could not. They hoarded technology. They prevented competition. And worst of all, humanity discovered why Earth had really been quarantined. Humans found secret council files buried in the beacon networks, files that discussed Earth's resources, files that talked about rare elements in Earth's crust, files that mentioned Earth's incredible biological diversity, files that calculated how long it would take for humanity to go extinct naturally. The Council did not quarantine Earth to protect the galaxy. They quarantined Earth to protect their investment. They wanted the planet's resources. They were just waiting for humans to die off first. Chen felt her jaw tighten at the memory. The Council had treated humanity like weeds in a garden they planned to harvest later. Well, the weeds had grown thorns. "Admiral," Webb called out, "sensors are picking up multiple ships ahead. Configuration matches Council enforcement fleet. 50 vessels. They are moving to intercept." Chen smiled coldly. "Right on schedule." "How close are they?" "They will reach us in 15 minutes. Slow to sublight speeds. Let them catch up. I want to talk to them first." The Prometheus dropped out of its quantum drive. The stars stopped streaming. Space became still. The human warship waited like a predator watching prey approach. The Council fleet appeared on sensors. 50 ships arranged in a standard enforcement pattern. They were beautiful vessels, Chen had to admit. Smooth hulls. Graceful curves. They looked like works of art. They also looked like they had never seen real combat. A communication came through. Chen's translator converted the alien language instantly. A Valkyrie commander appeared on the screen. His face was long and thin. His skin was pale blue. His eyes were large and dark. "Unknown vessel," the commander said. His voice was stern but not hostile. "You are in violation of Galactic Council space. You are broadcasting no identification codes. You must stop immediately and prepare to be boarded for inspection." Chen let the silence stretch for a moment. Then she replied in perfect Valkyrie language. The commander's eyes widened in surprise. "This is Admiral Sarah Chen of the United Earth ship Prometheus. Earth recognizes no authority from a council that imprisoned us without trial. We are not stopping. We are not being boarded. We are going to your headquarters and you will take us there." The commander's face showed confusion, then anger. "Earth, the quarantined world? You have no right to leave your system. You have no right to possess faster-than-light technology. Your presence here is illegal. You will comply, or you will be disabled and towed back to your system." Chen's expression did not change. "You can try." The commander made a gesture. The communication cut off. On the tactical display, the 50 council ships began to move. They surrounded the Prometheus in a sphere formation. It was a standard containment pattern designed to prevent escape. "They are charging weapons," Webb reported. "Low power. Looks like they plan to disable our engines." "Let them take the first shot," Chen said calmly. "Record everything. I want proof they fired first." The Council fleet opened fire. 50 energy beams lanced through space toward the Prometheus. They were designed to overload engines and disable shields. They were meant to be non-lethal. The commander probably thought he was being merciful. The beams hit the Prometheus's shields and dissipated harmlessly. The human ship did not even shudder. On the Council flagship, alarms started blaring. The commander stared at his screens in disbelief. The weapons had done nothing. The human ship's shields had not even flickered. "Impossible," he whispered. "What kind of shields are those?" Chen's voice came over the communication channel. She sounded almost bored. "Those were your weapons? We barely felt them. Now let me show you ours. I will give you 10 seconds to evacuate your crews to escape pods." The commander's face showed fury. "You dare threaten us? We are the Galactic Council. We have maintained peace for 5 seconds, Chen interrupted. "You are one ship. We are 50. You cannot." 2 seconds. The commander's pride overcame his judgment. "All ships fire at will. Destroy that vessel." Chen sighed. "I gave you a chance. Weapons free. Target their engines only. Minimal casualties." What happened next would be studied in military academies across the galaxy for centuries. The Prometheus fired. Humanity had spent 500 years perfecting one thing: warfare. While the Council species had enjoyed peace and prosperity, humans had continued fighting. They had refined every aspect of combat. They had made war into a science. The Prometheus carried weapons the galaxy had never imagined. Kinetic cannons that accelerated projectiles to a fraction of light speed, quantum torpedoes that phased through shields, laser arrays that could cut through hulls like paper, and an AI system that calculated firing solutions faster than any living being could think. The battle lasted 47 seconds. When it ended, 49 Council ships drifted in space, their engines destroyed, their weapons offline, their crews stunned but alive. Emergency lights flickered across damaged hulls. Escape pods launched in panic. One ship remained untouched. The flagship Daichen opened a channel to the commander. His face was pale. His hands shook. Behind him, his bridge crew looked terrified. "I left you alive for a reason," Chen said. "You will take a message to your council. Tell them Earth demands a seat at their table. Tell them we want full membership with all rights and privileges. Tell them they have 30 days to respond. If they refuse, we will take that seat by force." She leaned forward, her eyes hard. "And tell them this: we know why you really quarantined us. We know about your plans for our world. We know everything. Your secret files were not as secure as you thought." The commander could barely speak. "What are you?" Chen smiled without warmth. "We are what you created. You locked humanity in a cage for 500 years. You gave us nothing but time to think about freedom. Did you really believe we would stay prisoners forever?" She cut the communication. "Set course for Council headquarters," she ordered. "Maximum speed. It is time to introduce ourselves properly." The Prometheus turned and accelerated away, leaving the shattered Council fleet behind. On the flagship, the commander watched the human warship vanish into the distance. His hands trembled as he began composing his report. "How did you tell the galaxy that everything had just changed? How did you explain that the quarantined species had broken free? How did you admit that the prisoners had become the predators?" The message reached Council headquarters within hours. What should have been a routine enforcement action had turned into a disaster. 49 ships damaged, one species freed from quarantine, and a single human warship heading straight toward the heart of galactic civilization. Supreme Counselor Vexthar of the Jin Collective received the report first. She was old, even by her species standards. Her scales had faded from bright green to pale gray. She had served on the Council for 200 years. She had seen disputes, trade wars, minor conflicts, but she had never seen anything like this. She called an emergency session. The Council chamber was a massive dome on the planet Nexus Prime. Representatives from 100 species gathered in floating platforms arranged in a circle. At the center stood the 3 high seats reserved for the leaders of the great empires. Vexthar stood on the Jin platform. To her left was Sovereign Kelrin of the Velkari. To her right was Dominus Kale of the Aurelians. The 3 most powerful beings in the galaxy. They had ruled together for decades. They had never truly been afraid, until now. "Show them," Vexthar commanded. A holographic display activated. Every representative watched as the recording played. They saw the human ship emerge from the Sol system. They saw the enforcement fleet move to intercept. They saw what happened next. The chamber fell absolutely silent. 100 species watched in horror as 49 Council ships were destroyed in less than a minute. The weapons the humans used defied everything they knew. The speed of their attack was impossible. The precision was terrifying. When the recording ended, chaos erupted. Representatives shouted questions. Some demanded action. Others called for investigation. A few suggested immediate surrender. Vexthar raised her hand. The chamber slowly quieted. "We face a crisis unlike any in Council history," she said. Her voice was steady, but everyone could hear the fear beneath it. "A quarantined species has broken free. They possess technology we do not understand. They have defeated a Council fleet with ease, and they are coming here." Sovereign Kelrin spoke next. His voice was calm, but his hands gripped his chair tightly. "We must respond with overwhelming force. Assemble every available ship. We will show these humans that defeating one fleet means nothing. The Council has thousands of vessels. We will crush them." Dominus Kale shook his massive head. The Aurelian leader was built like a mountain. His species valued strength above all else. "I disagree. Did you not see the recording? Their weapons cut through our shields like they were not there. Their ship barely moved when hit by 50 simultaneous shots. More ships will only mean more casualties." "Then what do you suggest?" Kelrin demanded. "We negotiate? We surrender? We give these primitives whatever they want?" "I suggest we learn what we are dealing with," Kale replied. "Send scouts. Gather information. Discover their capabilities. Then we decide our response." Vexthar listened to them argue. She looked at the other representatives. She saw fear on every face. The galaxy had been peaceful for so long. Comfortable. Safe. Now that safety was shattered. "There is something else," she said quietly. Both leaders stopped arguing. "The human admiral mentioned our secret files. She said they know why Earth was really quarantined." The chamber went silent again. This time the silence was different. It was guilty. Many species on the Council did not know the truth about Earth. They believed the official story. A dangerous species locked away for everyone's safety. But the three empires knew better. They knew about Earth's resources. They knew about the plans. "She is bluffing," Kelrin said, but his voice lacked conviction. "Perhaps," Vexthar replied. "Or perhaps they hacked our networks while we thought they were primitive and blind. Either way, we must assume they know everything." "Then we must destroy them," Kelrin insisted, "before they expose us, before they turn the galaxy against us." "And how do we destroy a ship we cannot damage?" Kale asked. The question hung in the air. No one had an answer. A new voice spoke. It belonged to Ambassador Threxcal, who had witnessed the human ship firsthand. He was young and his voice trembled, but he spoke clearly. "Permission to speak, counselors?" Vexthar nodded. "Granted." "I studied their ship extensively," Threxcal said. "I analyzed every reading my sensors captured, and I discovered something disturbing." He paused, gathering courage. "The Prometheus is using technology that should not exist. Their drive system operates on principles that contradict our understanding of physics. Their weapons ignore the laws we thought were universal, but more than that." He hesitated. "Speak," Vexthar commanded. "Their ship is old," Threxcal continued. "The design is at least a century old, maybe more. The hull shows signs of long use. This is not a new vessel, which means," Kale finished the thought, "which means they have had this technology for a very long time. While we thought they were trapped and helpless, they were building warships." The implications spread through the chamber like poison. If the Prometheus was old, how many more ships did Earth have? What other weapons had they developed? How long had they been preparing? "We need intelligence," Vexthar said. "Send stealth ships to the Sol system. Find out what else they have. How many ships? How many weapons? We need to know what we face." Over the next week, the galaxy held its breath. Stealth ships approached Earth's solar system. They were the best scouts the Council had, silent, invisible, able to gather information without being detected, or so they thought. Every stealth ship that entered the Sol system was immediately painted by targeting sensors. Human voices came over open channels. "Unknown vessel at coordinates 445789221. You have been detected. Leave now or be destroyed. Stealth ship approaching Mars orbit. We see you. Turn around. Nice try with the cloaking device. Our sensors can detect your energy signature from 1,000,000 kilometers away." Last warning, the scouts fled. Not a single one managed to get close to Earth. The reports they sent back were terrifying. Earth's solar system was not undefended. It was a fortress. Thousands of satellites and defense platforms orbited the inner planets. Weapon systems covered every approach. The humans had built an entire defensive network while under quarantine, and they had clearly been tracking the Council's stealth technology for centuries. Meanwhile, The Prometheus continued its journey toward Nexus Prime. It did not hurry. It did not hide. It moved steadily, giving the Council plenty of time to panic. Vexthar called another emergency session. This time the discussion was different. Fear had settled into reality. "We cannot fight them," she said bluntly. "Not yet. We do not understand their technology. We do not know their full capabilities. If we attack and fail, we lose all credibility. The Council will collapse. So we negotiate?" Kelrin asked. He sounded defeated. "We negotiate," Vexthar confirmed. "We give them what they want. A seat on the Council, trade rights, whatever it takes to buy us time. And then," Kale asked, "and then we study them. We learn from them. We adapt." Vexthar's eyes were hard. "The humans think they have surprised us. They think we are weak because we have been peaceful. But we have not ruled this galaxy for millennia by being foolish. We will bend. We will compromise. And slowly, carefully, we will find their weaknesses." "What if they have none?" someone asked. Vexthar smiled grimly. "Everyone has weaknesses. Even humans, but privately she was not so sure." The reports kept coming in. Human technology was not just advanced. It was revolutionary. They had developed things the Council had never imagined. Quantum entanglement drives that did not use hyperlanes. Weapons that phased through shields. AI systems that thought faster than organic minds. How had they done it? The answer was in the historical files. While the Council species had enjoyed 500 years of peace, humans had continued fighting. They had wars in their solar system. They battled over moons and asteroids. They competed for resources. They never stopped testing their weapons, improving their ships, refining their tactics. The Council had stagnated. They had become comfortable. Their weapons were ceremonial. Their tactics were outdated. Their ships were built for prestige, not combat. Humans had built everything for one purpose, war. And now, the galaxy was about to discover what 500 years of focused military development could achieve. The Prometheus was 10 days away from Nexus Prime. The Council scrambled to prepare. They gathered their largest fleet, 10,000 ships from across the galaxy. It was the greatest armada ever assembled. Supreme Commander Vexthar stood on the command deck of the flagship Eternity. Around her, a fleet stretched across space. Surely, she thought, even the humans could not defeat 10,000 ships. But deep down, in a place she did not want to acknowledge, doubt whispered. The humans had been prisoners for 500 years. What would prisoners do if they finally broke free? What rage had humanity been storing all this time? And most terrifying of all, what if the Prometheus was not coming to negotiate? What if it was coming to make an example? The Council was about to find out. The Prometheus arrived at the staging area 3 days early. Admiral Chen had changed course, moving faster than the Council expected. She wanted to catch them off guard. She wanted them afraid. It worked. The Council's Grand Armada was still assembling when the human warship dropped out of quantum drive. 10,000 ships scattered across a massive area of space. Supply vessels, command carriers, battleships, cruisers, fighters. It was the largest military force the galaxy had ever seen, and it was in complete chaos. The Prometheus sat motionless in the center of the formation. One ship, alone, surrounded by 10,000 enemies. On the Eternity, alarm screamed. Vexthar rushed to the command deck. "Report." "The human ship just appeared," an officer said. His hands shook. "They are right in the middle of our formation. We did not detect them until they were already here." Vexthar stared at the tactical display. The Prometheus glowed red in the center of a sea of green markers representing Council ships. This was impossible. Their sensors should have detected the ship light years away. Instead, it had appeared among them like a ghost. "How did they do that?" she whispered. Before anyone could answer, Admiral Chen's voice filled every communication channel in the fleet. She spoke in perfect galactic common, the trade language used across civilized space. "Supreme Commander Vexthar, I am Admiral Sarah Chen of Earth. We need to talk." Vexthar composed herself. She activated her own transmission. "Admiral Chen, you have entered a restricted military zone. You are surrounded by 10,000 warships. I suggest you surrender immediately." There was a pause. Then Chen laughed. It was not a cruel laugh or a mocking one. It was the laugh of someone who found something genuinely amusing. "Commander, look at your formation. Really look at it." "Tell me what you see." Vexthar frowned. She studied the tactical display more carefully. The 10,000 ships were arranged in standard battle formations. Everything looked normal. Then she saw it. The Prometheus was not just in the center of the formation. It was at the exact center, perfectly positioned so that every major command ship was within its weapons range, every supply depot, every carrier. The humans had not just appeared anywhere, they had appeared at the single most devastating position possible. If they fired now, they could cripple the entire fleet before it could properly respond. "You see it now," Chen said. Her voice was calm, professional. "Your ships were built for ceremony. For show. They are beautiful, Commander. But they were not built for war. Not real war. You threaten us?" Vexthar asked. "No, I am explaining reality to you. This fleet could not stop me if I wanted to destroy it, and we both know it, so let us stop pretending. I did not come here to fight. I came here for the truth." Vexthar hesitated. "What truth?" "The real reason you quarantined Earth." Silence filled the channel. Vexthar looked around her command deck. Her officers stared back at her. They did not know. Most of the fleet did not know. Only the three empires knew the real reason. "I do not know what you mean," Vexthar said carefully. "Then let me show you." A new transmission activated. It bypassed the command channel. It went to every single ship in the fleet, every screen, every display. 100,000 crew members suddenly saw the same thing. Documents, files, communications, all marked with council seals. Chen's voice narrated as the files scrolled past. 500 years ago, the Council surveyed Earth. They found a planet rich in rare elements. They found biological diversity unlike anywhere else in the galaxy. They found resources worth trillions of credits. More files appeared. Economic projections, mining plans, timelines. The Council decided Earth was too valuable to leave alone. But humans were in the way, so they made a plan. Quarantine the planet. Wait for humans to destroy themselves naturally. It might take a few centuries, but the Council had time, and once humanity was extinct, they could harvest everything. Across the fleet, crew members stared in horror. Representatives from smaller species felt betrayal settle in their stomachs. They had been told the quarantine was for safety. For protection, they had been lied to. "That is not tapu," Vexthar started. "Here is a communication from Sovereign Kelthar himself," Chen interrupted. Another file appeared. Written 300 years ago. Quote, "The Earth situation remains profitable in waiting. Human population conflicts continue to escalate. Projections suggest extinction-level war within 2 centuries. We must simply be patient." End quote. Vexthar closed her eyes. The secret was out. 500 years of lies exposed in seconds. "You imprisoned an entire species," Chen continued. Her voice was harder now. "Not because we were dangerous, not to protect the galaxy, but because you wanted our planet's resources. You wanted us to die so you could loot our world. It was not or it was different." Vexthar struggled for words. "It was genocide by waiting," Chen said flatly. "You are lucky we survived. You are lucky we are more civilized than you are." Admiral Chen let that statement hang in the air. Then she changed her tone. Became businesslike. "Here is what will happen now. Earth will join the Council. Full membership. Full voting rights. All quarantine protocols will be abolished immediately, and you will pay reparations for 500 years of imprisonment." "That is impossible," Vexthar said. "The Council will never agree. Then I will make them agree. You are one ship." Vexthar's frustration boiled over. "One ship against 10,000. You cannot threaten us into Bio." The Prometheus fired. Not at the fleet. At a moon. A barren rock orbiting a nearby gas giant. Nothing important. Nothing valuable. Just stone and ice. A single quantum torpedo phased across space and struck the moon's core. For a moment nothing happened. Then the moon exploded. Not shattered. Not damaged. Exploded. The entire planetary body came apart in a blast of energy that lit up sensors across the fleet. Where a moon had been, now only debris remained. Chen's voice was calm. That was set to 2% yield. A warning shot. "Would you like to see what a full-power shot can do?" Every ship in the fleet received targeting data simultaneously. Their computers showed them the truth. The Prometheus had painted every major vessel, every command ship, every carrier, every supply depot, one ship, 10,000 targets, all locked. I could destroy this fleet, Chen said quietly. All of it. In less than an hour. My ship carries enough firepower to crack planets. And I am not even close to my limits. Vexithar felt something she had not felt in centuries. True absolute fear, but I will not, Chen continued. Because unlike you, Earth does not solve problems through genocide. We had 500 years to think about what we would do when we broke free. We could have come here with revenge in our hearts. We could have burned your worlds the way you planned to take ours. She paused. But we chose differently. We chose to be better than you are. On the Eternity's bridge, an officer spoke urgently to Vexithar. Commander, we are receiving reports from the Sol system. A splinter faction launched a secret attack. 500 ships. They wanted to destroy Earth while the Prometheus was away. Vexthar's blood ran cold. When? 2 hours ago. The attack should have just begun. Chen's voice came through the channel again. She had clearly intercepted the same reports. But she did not sound worried. Commander, you should know. That attack is already over. What? Vexthar pulled up long-range sensors. It took a moment for the data to reach them across the vast distance. When it did, she felt her heart stop. The attacking fleet was destroyed. All 500 ships. But the Prometheus had not gone back. Earth's defense network had handled them alone. The recordings showed automated defense platforms emerging from around Earth, Mars, and the asteroid belt. Thousands of them, AI-controlled weapons that moved with perfect coordination. The attacking fleet had not stood a chance. The battle had lasted 11 minutes. You see now, Chen said, the Prometheus is not Earth's only weapon. It is not even our strongest weapon. It is our diplomat. I am here to talk. But if you force Earth to fight, you will discover that 500 years of isolation taught us one thing very well. What is that? Vexthar asked, already knowing the answer. Survival, Chen replied. Humanity survives, no matter what. You locked us away and hoped we would die. Instead, we thrived. You tried to contain us. We broke free. You sent fleets against us. We destroyed them. Chen's image appeared on Vexthar's screen. The human woman looked tired but determined. You thought we were prisoners. You were wrong. We were students. And you taught us the most important lesson. Never trust someone who cages you. Vexithar looked around her bridge. At her officers. At the displays showing her magnificent fleet. A fleet that suddenly seemed fragile and weak. What do you want? She asked quietly. I told you. A seat at the table, and an end to imprisonment of developing worlds. No more quarantines. No more cages. No more waiting for species to die so you can take their resources. The Council will never agree. Chen smiled slightly. Then make them agree. You are Supreme Commander. You lead the strongest military in Council space. If you cannot convince them, who can? Vexthar understood. Chen was giving her a way out. A way to save face. To make this look like a choice rather than surrender. And if I do this? Vexthar asked. If I support Earth's membership? Then humanity will share what we learned. Our technology, our knowledge. We will help the Council become strong again. Really strong. Not this soft, comfortable weakness you have fallen into. Chen leaned forward. 500 years ago you locked us away because you feared our violence. You were right to fear. The Council chamber had never been so full. Every species sent representatives. Every world wanted to witness this historic moment. The floating platforms were packed. Additional viewing areas had been opened for those who could not fit in the main chamber. At the center, the 3 high seats were occupied. Vexthar of the Jin Collective, Sovereign Kelrin of the Velkari, Dominus Kale of the Aurelians. The 3 most powerful beings in the galaxy sat in silence, waiting. A new platform floated into the chamber. On it stood Admiral Sarah Chen representing Earth. She wore her military uniform. No diplomatic robes, no ceremonial dress. She came as what she was, a soldier. The galaxy held its breath. Vexthar stood. Her voice echoed through the vast chamber. This emergency session of the Galactic Council is now in order. We are here to address the matter of Earth's petition for membership. Murmurs spread through the crowd. Petition was a generous word. Everyone knew what had really happened. Earth had forced its way to this moment. Before we begin, Vexthar continued, I must address certain revelations that have come to light. Information regarding Earth's quarantine has been made public. Information that the Council leadership deliberately concealed. She took a deep breath. This was the hardest thing she had ever done. Admitting failure. Admitting guilt. But it was necessary. The quarantine of Earth was not solely for protective purposes. Economic motivations were involved. Plans were made regarding Earth's resources without consideration for its indigenous population. These actions were wrong. They violated the principles the Council claims to uphold. The chamber erupted. Representatives shouted, some in anger, some in support, some in shock that Vexthar had actually admitted the truth. Sovereign Kelrin looked like he wanted to protest, but he stayed silent. Denying it now would only make things worse. Vexthar raised her hand for silence. The question before us now is simple. How do we move forward? Do we continue to deny Earth its rightful place among the stars, or do we accept that we made a mistake and work to correct it? Admiral Chen had said nothing yet. She simply stood on her platform, watching, waiting. Her presence alone was a statement. Earth did not need to beg. Earth was not asking for permission. Earth was giving the Council one chance to do the right thing. Dominus Kyle rose from his seat. The massive Aurelian commander's voice was deep and powerful. I speak in favor of Earth's membership. Not because they forced us, not because we fear their weapons, but because they have proven themselves worthy. Some representatives looked shocked. Kyle was known for his pride. For him to support Earth was unexpected. The humans defeated our fleets, Kyle continued. They broke a quarantine we thought was unbreakable. They demonstrated technology we do not understand. But more than that, they showed restraint. They could have destroyed us. They chose not to. That is the mark of a civilized species. He looked directly at Chen. Strength without mercy is tyranny. Mercy without strength is weakness. Earth has shown both. That is what the Council needs. Murmurs of agreement spread, but not everyone was convinced. A representative from the Corvin Syndicate spoke up. How can we trust them? They hacked our networks. They spied on us for centuries. They built weapons in secret. These are not the actions of friends, Chen finally spoke. Her voice was calm but firm. You imprisoned us. You planned to wait for our extinction. You monitored us like laboratory animals. And you ask why we spied on our captors? The Corvin representative had no response. Chen continued. Earth did what it had to do to survive. We learned about you because you refused to let us meet you openly. We built weapons because we had no allies. We hacked your systems because you left us no other choice. Every action we took was a response to being caged. She looked around the chamber. But despite everything you did, we are here to talk, not to conquer, not to take revenge. We are here because we believe the Council can be better than it has been. We believe the galaxy can be better. Vexthar nodded slowly. What are Earth-specific demands? Chen pulled up a holographic display. Full Council membership with voting rights. Immediate removal of all quarantine protocols, not just for Earth, but for all worlds. A formal apology to humanity. Technology exchange agreements. And reparations paid over 50 years. Reparations? Kelrin spoke for the first time. You want us to pay you? 500 years of imprisonment, Chen said flatly. 500 years of stolen opportunity. 500 years of isolation. Yes, you will pay. Not in punishment, but in acknowledgement. What you did was wrong. You must make it right. And if we refuse? Someone called out. Chen's expression did not change. Then Earth will take what it is owed. We prefer peace. But we are prepared for the alternative. The threat hung in the air. Everyone remembered the destroyed fleets. The shattered moon. The ease with which humanity had demonstrated its power. Vexthar knew the truth. The Council had no choice. They could accept Earth's terms or watch their entire civilization crumble. Earth had the military strength to enforce its demands. But more importantly, Earth had exposed the Council's lies. Member worlds across the galaxy were already questioning their leadership. If the Council refused Earth now, they would face revolution from within. I call for a vote, Vexthar said. All in favor of Earth's admission to the Galactic Council, with full membership rights and the terms as stated, indicate now. One by one, lights appeared on the display. Green for yes, red for no. The count began. It was not even close. 2/3 voted yes, some out of fear, some out of genuine belief, some simply because they saw which way the wind was blowing. The three empires voted last. Vexthar voted yes. Kale voted yes. Kelrin hesitated, then also voted yes. The motion passes, Vexthar announced. Earth is hereby granted full membership in the Galactic Council, with all rights and privileges. The quarantine protocols are dissolved. Formal apologies will be issued. Reparation terms will be negotiated. The chamber erupted in mixed reactions. Some cheered. Some protested. Most simply sat in stunned silence. Chen bowed slightly. It was a gesture of respect, not submission. On behalf of humanity, I accept. Earth looks forward to working with the Council to build a better galaxy. But she was not done. However, I have one more request. A personal one. Vexthar looked wary. What is it? The Prometheus was Earth's diplomatic vessel, Chen said. But Earth has other ships. 20 more warships are currently in production. In 5 years, we will have 50. In 10 years, 200. The numbers made several representatives pale. We propose the formation of a new joint fleet, Chen continued. The Guardian Armada, composed of ships and crews from all Council species, including Earth. Its purpose will be to protect developing worlds, to ensure no species is ever imprisoned like we were, to defend the galaxy from real threats. Under whose command? Kale asked, though he sounded interested. Joint command, Chen replied. Rotating leadership. Shared responsibility. The Prometheus will serve as flagship. But the fleet will belong to everyone. It was a clever move. Earth was offering to share its military strength. To work together rather than apart. It was an olive branch extended alongside an iron fist. Vexthar considered, then nodded slowly. I support this proposal. The galaxy has been peaceful too long. We have grown soft. A joint defense force would benefit everyone. The vote was quicker this time. The Guardian Armada was approved. As the session ended and representatives began to leave, Sovereign Kelrin approached Chen. The Velkari leader looked old and tired. You humiliated us, he said quietly. You exposed our lies. You forced us to accept your terms. Why did you not simply destroy us? Chen met his eyes. Because destruction is easy. Building something better is hard. Earth could have come here with revenge in our hearts. We could have burned your worlds like you planned to take ours. But what would that accomplish? She gestured around the chamber. This galaxy needs to change. It needs to stop stagnating. It needs to remember how to be strong. But strength is not just about weapons. It is about principle, about doing the right thing even when it costs you. And you think we can change? Kelrin asked. I think you must, Chen replied. Because there are threats out there in the dark that you have not faced yet. Dangers you have forgotten how to handle. When they come, you will need to be ready. All of you. She looked him directly in the eyes. Earth was caged for 500 years. You wanted us to stay primitive. Instead, we became strong. Now we are offering to share that strength, to help you become strong again. You can accept our help or you can remain weak and face whatever comes next alone. Kelrin was silent for a long moment. Then he nodded slowly. I wronged your species. I apologize, Admiral Chen. Truly. It was the first genuine apology Chen had received from the Council leadership. She bowed her head slightly. Apology accepted. Now let us move forward together. 50 years later, Admiral Chen stood on the observation deck of the Prometheus and looked out at the stars. She was old now. Her hair was completely gray. Her body was tired. But her eyes were still sharp. Around her ship, the